As a former NFL cornerback, turned powerhouse real estate developer, investor, and community advocate, he went on to be drafted in the second round by the Miami Dolphins in the 2013 NFL Draft.
The Miami Dolphins select Jamar Taylor, defensive back from Boise State.
I truly want everybody to win. Even though I'm highly competitive, if I want to be better than you, I still want you to win.
You talk about your mantra, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. I love that a lot. I think it says a lot about you.
So if you're curious, ask it, because you'll be surprised who gives you the answer.
Work-life balance, and you have all that freedom. That pretty much, that attitude doesn't last you a week in this business.
I snowboard, I ride dirt bikes. Basically anything with a motor, I'll probably touch.
You talking my language, dude.
Yeah, I get after it.
Oh, me too.
You can have the playbook, but you got to still get in the game. Best piece of advice I've gotten is one day football will end. Whether you make $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $40 million, that you're able to.
Welcome back, guys, to Let's Talk Development, your favorite destination for real conversations on lifestyle, business, and real estate. My name is Max. We have a very special guest here today. Not only a good friend of mine, but our absolute rock star at America One. And I can't wait for you guys to get to know him and talk a little bit more about his business. Before we start, unfortunately, Patrick can't be here today. It's going to be a little bit different, so guys have cut me a little slack here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, follow us for more insights on business, lifestyle, and real estate. So, Jamar, how's it going, brother?
It's great, man. Appreciate you having me.
Of course, I'm super excited to get this going today. This is going to be a long introduction, but I'm very honored to have you here today. And let's start by saying you are truly one that kind of mastered the art of reinvention on the field, obviously as a former NFL player, and we'll hear more about that soon, in the community and now in the world of real estate. As a former NFL cornerback, turned powerhouse real estate developer, investor, and community advocate, he's a San Diego native who started dominating at Helix High, who locked down a full ride to Boise State, where he became a first-team All-Mountain West standout. He went on to be drafted in the second round by the Miami Dolphins in the 2013 NFL Draft. He played 9 seasons in the NFL with the teams like Browns, Cardinals, and 49ers. But his story didn't end with football. It evolved. After hanging up his cleats in 2021, he turned his attention to real estate development in Phoenix and in Scottsdale. Ever since, he has built an impressive footprint in Arizona real estate, from buy and hold investments to fix and flips and ground up developments. He also led the sports and entertainment division at America One Real Estate, which we're going to talk a lot about today. Through his nonprofit, First Chance U, he's empowering kids in underserved communities through sports, education, and technology. He's not just building homes, he's building hope, opportunity, and a legacy. Whether you're an athlete transitioning into business, a real estate investor looking to level up, or just someone chasing greatness, get ready to be inspired, and officially welcome to the show, Jamar Taylor.
And appreciate you. That was great.
That was good.
I don't think I've ever had anybody give a full rundown, so that was really dope. No, appreciate you, bro.
Of course. Okay, let's get this started. Alan, per usual, you take over?
Yeah, so start off with a little game. So rapid fire. It can be a sentence, it can be a word. I guess first thing here, what's your best piece of advice you ever gotten? It's for both of you guys. You can both answer.
Best piece of advice I've gotten is to lead with love at whatever you do, right? I always say this, I truly want everybody to win. Even though I'm highly competitive, if I want to be better than you, I still want you to win. And anything that comes out of my mouth, sometimes it's harsh, but it comes from a great place.
What do you say after this? I guess obviously I agree with Jamar, but I think for us it's been having a very small inner circle and a big vision. I think we live that with the way we run our teams too. So I think that that's the best advice that I've gotten, and that's what we live by every single day, and that's why I guess we are where we are in the marketplace and continue to be more successful.
And kind of flipping it, what's the worst piece of advice you've ever got?
The worst, I've got a lot of bad advice. Um, Shut up and be quiet, right? I think, especially as an athlete, it's a whole bunch of different tricks of trade. You can take that however you want to, but it's like just fall in line. You know what I mean? I feel like my parents worked too hard for me to just fall in line and be, just a statistic. I'm out here to, obviously, I'm out here to think like SWAT team mentality. I'm here to kick the door down, and whether you like it or not, I'm coming in that bitch ready to roll.
I think so too. I got a lot of bad advice, but I think, especially growing up in Germany, I think a lot of people said, you can't just ask all these questions. You can't just be, very intrigued, and I feel like the more questions you ask, the better, right? The more you don't hold back, the more you want to know, the more you learn, the better you become. So I think it's a very natural entrepreneur mindset, independently of your level of success or what you do. And I mean, I don't know. We talk a lot. We always ask each other's questions, and I think we that's where collaboration comes into place. So I think it's a that that was the worst advice I've ever gotten.
It's funny before you even go to the next one, because that's what I was gonna say. My best advice was I had a coach that said there's no such thing as a dumb question, right? So if you're curious, like ask it, because you'll be surprised who gives you the answer, right? So yeah, I like that.
What's one big risk that you took that paid off?
Oh man, in my small little life, I think a couple things. I think a big risk that I took was at the end of my football career. I kind of betted on myself, right? I had a couple bad seasons, um, where it just wasn't going well for me for whatever reason, right? And so my last couple years, I made it a point with my agent, like, no, I'm going to choose my destination. I know where I want to play. Kind of just I kind of took over and was like my own agent. And I was like, basically just guided my agent on what I wanted to do instead of just going to go play for anybody. Another thing is I would say like hopping into real estate, like seriously, because, we were doing some buy and hold stuff. We are doing some fix and flip stuff. And it was one of those things like you can have analysis of paralysis for so long. And I always say like, relating it to sport is you can have the playbook, but you got to still get in the game. Right. So a big risk that I took, I felt like was not feeling like I knew everything, but saying, you know what, forget it. Let's just see. The best thing that I had was I had the NFL backing to kind of protect me. So I knew I was kind of safe because I had money coming in, but it was like, let's just take a chance. And I think the chance was worth it, when I'm looking at myself today.
I mean, leaving Germany, of course, that was the biggest risk I've ever taken in my life. Leaving family, friends, business, everything I knew behind. But obviously, you do it together with your best friend and business partner. That makes it easier. Granted, as you guys know, we had no clue, no money, no real estate background. So that was by far the biggest risk. I'm not sure I recommend anyone doing it quite the way we did it, but similar to Jamar, I think betting on yourself, is the most important thing you can do. Um, Obviously, coming from the athlete world, I can only imagine how much confidence you already have coming from an environment that's high performance. A lot of self confidence, and in Germany it was a little different. It's not like everyone around me was like, okay, you guys should do this. This is gonna be great. I know you can do it. Like, if anything, it was the complete opposite. Obviously, outside of family and friends that support you, but I think if you would ask them at the time, like, can you guys really make it happen? Probably if everybody would have been honest, it'd be like, this is like, because nobody could really fathom what that means. So, but I'm with you on that. I think betting on yourself, it's the best investment that you can make, and we do this daily.
Yeah. I would say too, like, the piggyback off of like what you're saying, because I think a lot of people look at us athletes and it's like, man, like, cause the mindset, but a lot of people on our side of the table is it's easy to just fall back and do like athletics, right? So a lot of times, like when I was coming over, people were like, what are you doing? Go be a coach, right? You can coach. Won't you train kids? It's like because that's comfortable. And so kind of like you guys were uncomfortable in your transition and your switch, not knowing anybody in America, only having your family. When I came to real estate, it was wife, right? Wife, mom, dad, and then I would say like people like you guys, right? Like you, right? Even hit me up when I got my license. Nick, always give Nick his flowers to Toon, because he was just like, hey, like, what do you want to do? Right. Like, so having in such a road, like you don't know anybody, and then having a couple people just like, hey, I got you if you need something. I think that helps you like start get that boost of confidence, right? Because it is scary going in the real, and I'm not from Arizona, so it's like, it's a couple people out here who don't want you in it at all, right? And it's like that's when the athlete side does click in, where you're like, all right, bet, let's get it. But you're going in a totally different world and navigating it all by yourself now, because you're like, well, who do I trust? Who's my go-to team at this point, right? So, um, similar but a little different.
We'll talk a little bit more how we met and how everything started. But keep going, Alan.
More rapid fire, sir. So fill in the blank. The most underrated skill in entrepreneurship is blank.
Underrated.
Yep. Skill in entrepreneurship.
Perseverance.
Yeah, that was like the word I was going for. Yeah, I agree. Perseverance. Yeah, you gotta be ready. Every day is different.
You gotta be ready and you gotta hang in there.
For Jamar, who's your all-time Mount Rushmore for NFL? It could be no matter. It could be quarterbacks. It could be any kind of your top four, I guess.
Ooh, 4.
Mount Rushmore.
Sheesh. NFL greats. I'll just go corners, right? So all time, like Mount Rushmore, I would go Deion Sanders, right? Because he like kicked it off. I'll go Charles Woodson. Um, I'll go Darrell Revis. And then that last one for me is always tough, but probably because he's a little older than the last guy, I'll go Champ Bailey. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, what's one win this year that you're proud of?
One win. So ever since I tore my ACL, man, I kind of look at wins a little different because it's like a day-to-day thing for me. But I would say most recently, just having our second born child, our son, he came out healthy. Um, and that brother is nothing short of amazing, and it's just great seeing him grow the last 2 months. We don't sleep at all, you know what I mean? But so it's getting back in the saddle. But I would say, yeah, that's the biggest win right now.
I think the biggest win for me this year is to see how the team's doing. I think we're improving a lot. It's getting better and better. We're getting more traction, especially on the sports and entertainment side, and it's very cool to see. That's something that was never really planned to be what it is today. Essentially, when I go way back when we started, it's just a very rewarding and very proud feeling. So that's the win. Forget about all the deals. It's the people.
All right, Jamar, for you, who's the best teammate you ever had, or the best person you ever played against?
Ooh, best teammate. I've had great teammates, so I don't want like anybody to like watch this and be like, "What about me?" Um, man, best teammate overall or NFL.
It could be overall. It could be college or NFL.
I'm not even gonna go college 'cause I still talk to those dudes every day.
Or even best player you played against, I guess.
I'll go both. So best teammate, I would say for me at a time that I was trying to navigate like the NFL, because I came in, I was hurt, is a guy named Cortland Finnegan, right? So a lot of people know Cortland. If you guys looked him up, you'll see him fighting Andre Johnson on the field, and they were getting after it. Um, he's a guy like who you never wanted to play against, but you love him on your team. He's that type of guy, right? And so at a time where I was coming in hurt, I'm a second round pick, right? They like, you need to get it together. He made sure he was like just that mentor. Like I never left the building at 8 o'clock p.m. Like he was like, nope, we're gonna order food. We'll stay here. We watch film. I wouldn't get home till like 11 o'clock at night because he's like, when it's time to play, you got to be ready. So I will always give like him his flowers because he didn't have to do that, especially because I was like trying to take his spot, right? But he was so comfortable with himself and knowing that his exit was going to be rather sooner than later, that he took time to help me become the guy I was and help me like start doing that for younger guys. Best player I ever played against, receiver wise, I'll say Antonio Brown. You know what I mean? Antonio Brown in his prime was unheard of. Yeah. He was like me and your size, but you would have thought he was 6'5", 6'6", he's a player. Crazy. He's crazy, but he was a player.
What's your dream development project for both of y'all?
You go first.
Phew, dream development project. I think it's actually the one that we're doing right now. Um, it's our development on Cactus. We just finalized the floor plan actually yesterday. Um, I need to show it to you later because it's gonna blow you away. I think that's a dream development. This is just, we started to be like just a 8,200 square feet. Pretty much standard spec for an acre, which now we're gonna be just under 10,000 feet. We have almost a 3,000 square feet rooftop, unobstructed Camelback Mountain. With this, we have 3 spas there. We have a TV that pops out of the ground behind the pool. I mean, this one will be display show garage that you can see from the living room, the movie theater. This is gonna be absolutely crazy. Yeah, simply because it's the first development that we're doing that's gonna be over 20 million.
No, for real. That's good. For me, I would say the one that like you said, like I'm currently doing. We're currently right now trying to still like source deals for more, but the one that I actually just posted it today, I'm really excited about. It's an A5254. It's about 5,800 square feet, attached casita, loft, office, wine rooms. I mean, you name it, we did it. And what I love most about it is like just the design of it, right? Kind of what you kind of always talk about, just not making it feel so spec, right? Making it feel more custom, and giving you everything that you want in a house. We talk about sports and entertainment. I know what I always say, like my guys are looking for, and we're throwing that all in a house that you can get for a great price point. But I also always look ahead at the next deal, which is always my problem too. So I'm really, really proud of this one. Finn Rogers is working on it. I love the quality of their work. And so um, that one, and then the one we have coming on 69th, which is right across from Max and Patrick's place on Jackrabbit. And so that one is going to be amazing. 8,500 square feet, Scandinavian modern. We threw everything at that one too as well. And we have Brittany Simon doing the design. And I think like a lot of her design is timeless. It doesn't go out of style. She's been amazing to work with. Finn Rogers is building that one too as well. And so that one, once it comes and knowing that other people are building on that street right now, I'm really, really excited about those two.
Gotcha. All right, some quick hitters here. What's one non-negotiable in your daily routine?
For me, I got two. So for me, like non-negotiable is I have to like read and pray, right? Like that's even with the kid, that's been the hardest thing, just trying to figure out like you need to go to sleep so I can like do my thing, and then working out for sure. Like I feel like as working out used to be to stay in shape, now it's just like all mental. I'm a better person once I bang that out in the morning.
Yeah, non-negotiables. Talking to my family, I do that every day. I don't work out every day, but on the days I work out, it's obviously non-negotiable. And then yeah, pray as well. Those are the just family and pray. Those are the two non-negotiables.
Okay. And then What keeps you up at night, but in a good way?
I think the dream, man. Like I got my mind works like that old school outline bubble. I don't know. I mean, how old are you?
26.
Right. So I don't know. I'm probably aging myself. Right. But like my mind is constantly going. Like I'm I'm kind of a visionary in a sense. Like I'm never satisfied. So I'm always thinking about the next thing. So whatever is on my mind about success that day, I'm ticking and it's going and I'm figuring out how to put it together. You know, I share some things with you like that we have planned and I'm gonna bring it all together. So my mind is just always rolling.
Yeah, surprise. I'm the same. So
Yeah.
I just
Same bird.
yep.
One last word thing here. Who would play you in a movie?
Actor wise, man, I don't know. That's a good one. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw this one in here for my mom. Hopefully Denzel Washington. You know, I feel like his voice is a little raspy, and so, but like not new Denzel, like old Training Day, like gritty Denzel, younger. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got.
That's a tough one. Uh
Zac Efron.
no. No, I'd say Leonardo DiCaprio.
Ooh, smooth. Yeah.
I haven't rolled in with the helmet in a hot second, but the Great Gatsby where he played that. So I think that's the only one I can think of. Zac Efron, guys. Okay, should we? You done with your part here,
Yeah.
Alan? You good? Um, I think what I'm like really interested in, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, is what would you say are the biggest parallels from being on the field as an NFL player and being in the grind of being an athlete and your real estate business today? Where do you see are the biggest parallels, and what are the things that are like the key takeaways from what you used to do versus what you do now, and what helps you on a daily basis?
That's a good question. It's so many different ones, and I know like I'm gonna miss out on a couple, and I know I'm gonna be driving home. And I'm like, dang, I should have said this. Um, but in terms of development, in terms of being a real estate advisor, right, in football or being an athlete, I think there's a few things, right? Obviously, the hard work, all of that stuff, but I think integrity, right, like doing the right thing when nobody's looking. I think that's one thing that you should always do. Um, I think in terms of like representation or on the development side, accountability, right? Because when you and Pat are doing something, you guys both split that on whose job is what. And then I would say, like you said, the perseverance part of it, because every deal in real estate is different and every play in football is different. And so being at the position that I played, you can literally be the man one play or a couple plays if you get an interception, but the next play you can get scored on and everybody hates you. And the same thing in real estate. Like, you can have the best deal and be like, this is the best buyer. I'm representing the seller, and then it could go to crap. And then you're like, now somebody's going to hate you. They're like, you need to pull this together. What are you doing? And it always points back to you. And like, how do you get through that without like losing your cool, right? And staying consistent. Um, so I would say like those are a lot of the similarities. And then also, I think in mindset and mentality of never just being here, right? Like I always say, I don't like people who go up and down. Like I like people that just stay the same. Like when I mean the same is like you're steadily getting better, right? Like no drop off. You may have a couple dips in there, but like you're still climbing. And that's the same thing you want in sport. You don't want anybody that's one game they're good, one game they're bad. Those guys, they get cut, but people that could be consistent, you'll play years.
So what would you say is the number one thing that you learned on the NFL field that helps you today? If there was one thing you would point out.
attention to detail. I think like a lot of people think, in sport, like you just get out there and play. Like my mom was one of those people, right? Like she'll call me like my first year in the league and she'll call me like 3 times out a day. I talk to my mom a lot. And so she'll call me on the way to work, lunch, and then after. And I'm like, Mom, you gotta stop calling me this many times because I'm working, right? And she's like, you just play football. Like that's all it is. That's all you're doing. And it's like, no, like I'm not only you're working out and going to practice, but we got walkthroughs, you watch film, but then you gotta like stay after and watch more film on yourself. And then you gotta watch film on the team. And you're looking at dudes' tendencies and body language, and it's a lot. And so that has taught me to pay attention to the details. When you get into real estate, it's knowing the contracts, right? It's knowing the clients. It's knowing how your clients are going to react to certain things. How do you put down the contacts for them to receive it, right? And then how are you receiving it as well? And then understanding like the person you're negotiating it with, right? Like what pushes their buttons, what doesn't push their buttons. Are they an agent who tends to like, hey, like let's get it done? Like so, it's so much thing. I always tell people like probably don't know me, but I know you because I've been watching film on you for so long, and I'm just paying attention to the landscape, and that's what football has taught me.
Okay, cool. And then before you started to decide to go into real estate, did you have a few other options, or what was this decision-making process there? And what if it wasn't real estate?
So I got in real estate way back when. Like I've been investing in real estate since 2016. So like I'm not necessarily like new to this. I've been doing this. And I always I'm a guy give guys their flowers, right? So my buddy Marcus Wheaton, who's actually doing the landscaping to like one of our projects, we were training and he was already investing in multifamily here. So him and I started hanging out and he actually introduced real estate to me in 16. Be honest with you, I could have just retired, right? Like I could have just been hanging out with my family. What really did it for me was I had a couple people representing me, and a couple of the people that represent me, I was like, this is terrible. Like this is bad. Like we're talking about this, like it's bad. It was like,
It
okay,
sounds
like,
familiar. I
yeah.
had
And
the same
so,
sensation, yeah.
and so that's what really drove me where I was like, I'm gonna get my license and I'm gonna represent myself. And then I had the opportunity to represent other people and it just started snowballing from there. I was like, I just wanted to do development. And then people were like, hey, I know this person and that person. And I think just being there for people and being accountable for people and knowing that I can make sure that they have a good process and I can control that, then it was like, you know what, let's hop in. If it wasn't real estate, um, be honest with you, it probably would have been coaching. But if anybody knows anything about coaching, is you can have a job one day and next day you're packing up your family. So I don't know, maybe I'd have just been retired and hanging out on the beach.
You don't think you would get bored?
I mean, my daughter's 7 now, but probably, I mean, I think that's a lot of it too. Like, I was like, I don't want my daughter to look at me and be like, man, this bum is just sitting here the age of 33, freaking just hanging out at the house being a stay-at-home dad. I mean, I'm so like a go person. And I want to bring value. So, I probably would have gotten bored, but I would have figured out something. I always said I'd be a pro snowboarder.
You snowboard a lot?
I snowboard a lot. I snowboard, I ride dirt bikes. Basically anything with a motor, I'll probably touch. Yeah.
How about jet skis?
Jet ski too.
You talking my language, dude.
Yeah. I get after it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I love it. Quick question in between, just because you mentioned your daughter right now. I know you had a child recently. Do you wanna maybe tell us or explain, especially for someone like me who doesn't have kids, um, what is the impact on your drive and motivation, um, especially after the next baby was there? Just very curious.
Oh man. I've always said like I'm a high level person. At least I want to be, I feel like I am. Um, but it's something about seeing like a little human who one resembles you, but like who you can't let down. It's I remember actually when I found out about my daughter, I actually had one of the worst games in my career, right? T.Y. Hilton kicked my tail up and down the field. For whatever reason, I don't know, right? It was just a bad game for me. And I got home and my wife told me, like, hey, I'm pregnant. And nothing else mattered at that moment, just like the baby did. And then when she came out, like, you get home, and this one I played in Cleveland, we were terrible. So you get home, like I played well, but we lost, which can take an impact on you. But then like that kid smiles at you. It just like, again, nothing else matters. So it's just, like, I think it just comes back down to like, okay, how was I raised? And what do I want for her life at the time, right? And then what do I want for my kids' life? At this moment, it's like, I tell people, like, I'm thinking about my kids now. So my kid's gonna be fine, right? But what about their kids? And then I think about like the Taylor name. And so it's just making sure that not only providing financially, but also mentally, physically. Like, my non-negotiable is like I don't miss any extracurricular activities. Like, just so my daughter can look and see, like, I think having that, like seeing you post about your mom and having that as a dad later on in life, I think it'd be crazy special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
Hope that
cool.
answers.
Huh?
I
Yeah,
hope
that
that answers.
answers. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing. Asking for a friend. Um, you one of the things I know about you is you talk about your mantra, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. Um, I love that a lot. I think it says a lot about you. But walk us through where that came from, and yeah, what it means for you.
I think it just comes like from my mom and my dad, like what they groomed into me as like a youngster, right? You can tell a lot about a person by the way that they move, right? And it's something so small, something like we talk about my daughter, I'm trying to instill in her now. It's like some of the smallest, like making up your bed, right? Or keeping the house clean, pushing in your chair, or having manners. I think if you look at a person and you see the way they come about, right? The way they dress, the way they smell, like says a lot about the person, right? And so it's the little things that's going to take you that you have to do right in order to do the big things right. I always say like you got to do good with a little before you can get a lot, right? It's just the analogy of you got to crawl before you walk, and if you can do that, then the sky's going to be the limit for you. So, for our clients or anybody we're talking to is just like, hey, like it means a tremendous amount to me that you trust us. So I'm gonna make sure I try to do everything accordingly.
What I like about that is I think you just say it in a little bit more eloquent way, but I think we mean the same, and that kind of ties into the culture I guess we have with the entire team, and that's that luxury or that service and kind of attention to detail you describe has nothing to do with the price point. It's the same thing if it's a rental or a $10 million home, and yeah, I think that's very special, and I also think that that is something that not only sets you apart, but sets everyone collectively apart from us on a team side, and that's very special. So um, I like that. Thank you for sharing that and giving more detail. When you want to go back real quick one more time on something, when you kind of jumped ship, transitioning from NFL to real estate, what was the thing that like scared you the most, if anything, or did you just jump in it and you already had some experience in the past with real estate? Tell me how that was, and maybe give us
As
a little bit of insight, on support from your system, your wife, etc.
on the development side or
Just
um,
in general, you can differentiate between development and agent side if you want to.
yeah, so I think on the development side, like we built our house and like even with my nonprofit, like I work with our marketing team to get like a lot of that stuff done. So from like a visionary standpoint, like my wife was all in. She's like, this is what you like to do, you know. She's like, you got it, right? Like continue to learn, but you got it. And find good people to have around you, right? And so from that side, like I wasn't nervous at all. It was like it just comes down to sourcing the deal, finding the deal. Um, and then it's like, do you want to do it alone? right? Or do you want to bring people with you? And so when I first got started in that, it was like me and my wife only. Like I didn't want anybody involved. Like most people that we know, right? It was just like 1-2 punch. You keep it in house, but obviously it's more risk in that way as well. And so, we've done well for ourselves, but it was like, hey, we want to be smart about this. On the realtor side, I think everybody thought I was a little crazy because I would say like I'm not always the best people person, right? And I always say like my social battery wears thin at times. And so it was going to be interesting how we were going to go about that, but I think any job that I was going to have to do or I wanted to do was going to involve people. So I think my social battery used to be short fused because I was around 150 guys or 100 guys a day. And that's just a lot to take on after going to go run in 100-degree weather. Where it's like now, like it's interesting to figure out, figure out what people do or who they are or how they go about it. And so I think we both were like a little bit nervous on that end. But the community, right? The community, whether it's at America One or with clientele, it's been great because we've been blessed. Like I posted yesterday, we've been blessed with some good people in all price points that like the synergy is good, what makes work even better.
Okay. And then would you say what were your expectations going into real estate when you made the full transition? And if you look back now, what you were expecting maybe from the first year or two versus what actually happened?
Man, I thought I was gonna come out the gate swinging. I was like, I'm about to have this deal, this deal, this deal. I'm gonna tell all my boys, right? And it's gonna be great. Like, I honestly was like, you build up a report in the locker room, and I'm like, everybody knows me as like doing my job, right? I'm super duper locked in, um, and like just taking care of people. Same stuff like now, and it wasn't like that, and I struggle with that in all honesty, because it was like, dude, I'm doing everything and I'm bad. I mean, you know how it is, especially when you go sports entertainment, you battling against everybody. You got girlfriends, you got side chicks, you got the wife's best friend, you got the wife, you got the mom. And so you got the agent and who he's referring because he gets a kickback. So it's a lot of different like things you got to navigate. And then also like the guys are used to you being one of the guys. So then it's like, I don't know if I really trust you just yet, but hey, let me go with me to go get this rental. And you like, dang, like, and so I realized again that I just had to be okay with the little bit that I was given, right? And then just build up the rapport. It's like you don't get on the football field. I don't care if you drafted first, second round and they put you out there and people are like, oh man, Matt, you a first round pick. We just love you. You gonna play. It's like, now let's watch this guy. Let's see what he got. After you make a couple plays, then people start believing in it. So my first year, I definitely thought I was going to come out and at least do, 15, 20 million. And I didn't, and I would say like, I was still trying to play too, but the more serious I've taken it and the more outreach I've done and networking has gotten better and better and better. And I wish I had more big deals, but at the same time, again, I'm happy with all price points because it just means you trusting in me. And like I always tell everybody, I'm like, I don't care about selling 100 million, to be honest with you. Like, I just want to be the best representation of you. And I'm going to build some dope houses. And guess what? They're going to be mine. And I'm going to sell that one too. Right. And eventually it'll turn.
So this is maybe a good point to ask for some advice here. Um, I think that there's a lot of people that would like to get into real estate in some sort. And we can maybe just leave it for the real estate agent side for now. A lot of people say, love to be in real estate, would love to be a real estate agent, would love to be a luxury real estate agent, right? What would your advice be for someone who just started or is about to get started? Because I get that question a lot. I'm very curious what your answer is. What's your advice?
Yeah, I was about to ask you. I
Outside of good luck.
yeah. We talked about it on the broker call, right? I think like you gotta put your boots on the ground. It's as simple as that. Like one person that I really love is Taylor, right? Rhodes. And it's because how he came in and he sat San Miguel every week. And think it's about to work out for them, right? And so it's like when you get into a situation like that, um, and I guess what I'm trying to tell everybody is like the open houses, right? Like you got to be able to do the grunt work. You got to be able to say, hey, look, hey, Max, I'll go do this drawing with you, right? When you call me on a Saturday, hey, JC, can you do it? Yep, I got you. You got to be able to like help out the mentors in your life and then say, hey, I'm willing enough to go sit here at this open house and be bored. Worst case scenario, you get work done, right? I guess, or be on TikTok or Instagram or whatever young people do. But like for me, like I get work done. Nobody comes in. Best case scenario, people come in, you get clients. Hopefully you get an unrepresented buyer, you represent them. And then like once you get one, you got to ask yourself like, how do I maximize that with an Allen, right? Like how do I maximize that on the marketing end? I just got this house under contract because young buyers are staring at their phones, young buyers and old buyers. So then when you get a deal, how can I maximize that deal? So then now people can see me and then just continue to just post and do that same thing. I open houses and socials. I think that's how you get the clientele.
Okay,
I don't
good.
know.
I
What
like
do you
it.
think?
No, I think it's. I think I would agree with you. But I think more than anything, not trying to discourage anyone. You know, this is probably one of the most, if not the most competitive real estate agent market in the United States. I mean, we said at our conference that we spoke in Germany, there was more real estate agents in Arizona than in Germany. You know, I mean, there's like 90 million people in Germany living in a whole country, and we got 4.5, 5 million here. I mean, the amount of real estate agents that are licensed now, not everybody does a lot of business, but just a matter of fact of a highly, highly competitive environment, a business that just requires everything out of you. You have to be available. Essentially, you have to be 24/7. It's hard to put boundaries in play, and there's always someone else that's gonna work harder, do more, do it for less. So I think having realistic expectations of getting yourself involved to a business that is just an absolute grind, and the whole work life balance, and you have all that freedom, that pretty much that attitude doesn't last you a week in this business.
Yeah, I would say like, I mean, football, we used to always say availability is everything, right? So to your point, like if you're not, somebody else will be. And I get a lot of calls, from agents because they see, I always say like, I always tell Eugene, like they see like the outlook and they're like, man, I want to join. And I'm like, it's great. I love that for you. But what are you joining for? And like, what other brokerages are you looking at? Because you can join any cool looking, good brokerage, but are you going to take advantage of opportunities? And I feel like for us, within everybody's listings, it's a ton of opportunity. And it's like, what are you going to come in and do with that opportunity? You know what I mean? To your point, it's like, if you think you're going to be at, you're going to be at, I don't know, freaking the Caesars on a Saturday at 12 by the pool, it's like, no, like that's time to make your money, right? Like you're by the pool, I'm finishing up my daughter's game and I'm headed out. Like I'm straight there, right? And then are you going to be up early or up late to get the deal done? And if you're not, somebody else is, so I agree with you 110%.
I want to touch on two things real quick. Number one, I guess I've always been curious, and maybe share with everyone who's watching and listening. How did we meet? What was it? What made you decide to join forces and build what we're building right now? And then secondly, transitioning into that, give us a little bit of insight on the sports and entertainment division that is clearly spearheaded by you. And yeah, let's talk about that.
Um, Man, so I think we informally met, I want to say when I got my license, right? It was probably just on socials. Um, and then I don't know.
Sliding into the
Yeah, yeah.
DMs.
Well, I think you're just like, hey, look, again, like I pay attention to everybody. It was like, hey, look, like, congrats if you need anything. Which again, you talk about a competitive market. Like nobody does that, right? And so I just think it was the small group that we all know. It was like, okay, like who's this guy? He's coming on. But like obviously like came to some of you guys' things, seeing how you guys move. For me personally, at that time, when I left that brokerage and then I went to another one, it was just like, okay, like I want to have something that's like a camaraderie, right? Like a group you can go to. Do we need to talk to every day? No. Like, but if you need something, or if you're doing a deal and you want somebody that's next to you, like where can you go? And I realized you got a lot of realtors that say they're developers, but they're really not, right? They just represent developers. And so it's like, okay, I want to be a part of a group who's 10 toes down in it, doing it every day. And so one thing led to another. Shoot, I think I hit you up, we met, and then we did that for a few months, maybe even half a year. And it just made sense. Like for me, like I think when I looked at everything that you and Pat is doing, then you throw John in there as well. Steve and Joe, like everybody's great at the time. And then you see like Haley, how she was kicking off, right? Because I had the deal come in and I think she brought 3 buyers by. It was just like, okay, like that's what you want to be a part of. Not only are they active in the development space, but they're also active in the retail space as well. And everybody seems like they're somewhat a close knit group. You know what I mean? And so,
You still feel the same about that?
yeah, I feel like everybody's dialed in. Like when we go to the office, I feel like it's funny, or like even on our calls, because it's like it's gonna be a little bit of crap talking at first before we hop into it.
Especially when Eddie
Yeah,
left.
yeah. And then you get Eddie, and then Eddie. I mean, yeah, even with Eddie, like Eddie was great, right? We had our podcast together, and he's freaking taken off, and like super duper proud of him. But it was like this is like a locker room feel that I don't think you can get anywhere else. Maybe it's because like how many agents we have, but I'm like I wouldn't trade that for the world, right? And then you chop those agents in half, and you're like, who does investing? I guarantee if you went to another one, it's not really that. You got a couple of designers here or there, but nobody's doing kind of what we doing. And it's a few people, and I think we both can name all those people on both hands. So yeah, and then the sports and entertainment, man, that kind of just I don't even know where that came from. I think we were just talking. You guys said like, hey, we always had this idea, and then I was like, huh. Well, what I'm trying to do in my business is obviously that. Like I want to represent not only everyday people, but I want to represent again, I call them my guys. Like guys, I understand what you're going through. I understand how it is when you get traded. I understand how it is when you get cut. I understand my wife understands how it is for the wives, like how it is when you have to pack up the house because your husband's been shipped out and it's up to you. And so it's like, how can I be that bridge to say, look at the wife or the mom or the financial advisor or the agent and say, hey, we got it, right? Like, you're good. You come here, we got everything. Just bring your bags. We'll find that space. And so between what you guys were talking about and what I wanted to do, it just made sense. Obviously with Eddie as well, him and I had numerous conversations about what that looks like. And then I think as we start digging into it and as we were a part of some other groups, we're like, start pulling some resources together. And now it's kind of the seed is starting to plant into this, beautiful flower, I guess. And we got some dope agents who've joined along the way who all have experience in athletics. So it's not like a guy who has never played or a girl who has never played and you just understand because that's your friend's husband, right? It's like, no, like we've actually been in your shoes. We've made, we've made we've been at the top of the food chain, Eddie and I, in terms of like our respected fields. Pat as well, Taylor, winning rings, Kyle as well, playing at a high level. And then we've also been at the bottom of the food chain where it's some moving pieces, right? And you need to make sure that it's all accounted for because everything can happen in a drop of a dime. You can have a place here in PV and you can get shipped to Baltimore. Like, are you going to rent that? Are you going to sell that? Do you have equity in the house? How much can we get for it? It's only been 8 months. It's just a lot of moving pieces that I think you have to have somebody that you trust. And that's not just going to blow smoke up your tail, but that's going to tell you the truth and what's the best exit strategy for you.
What's the vision and what's on the board upcoming here for the sports and entertainment division?
I think the vision right now is we're kind of just, we're auditing everything, with the help from a few people in our brokerage who are great. And then we're going to plan an event here soon, just trying to dial in a date. I think is the biggest thing. So trying to do an event here where we will bring, kind of like a little bit of a client appreciation, but also hoping to bring awareness to clients and what they do off the field, off the court, as well off the diamond. And just have it full fledged with like a lot of our partners in there, and just a great time, and a real kickoff to what we're doing, and to kind of plant our flag and say like, hey, like, America One Sports and Entertainment is here, and not only we were here, but we're kicking tail as well.
So I guess that's a good opportunity for me to say, like, I mentioned it before. I think something that started as you know not even being a plan to grow the brokerage, number one, number two, an idea of how a sports and entertainment division could look like. I appreciate it a lot that you spearhead this, you bring this to life. I mention it every single time wherever I go, and I'm like very proud, and I know this thing's just gonna blow up, and we're the only legit sports and entertainment division in town from athletes for athletes. So thanks for that. Super stoked to see what's up next. I have two closing questions here. The first one is, if you had 5 minutes to talk to a rookie, a young athlete, about how to prepare for life after the career's over, what would you say?
Well, I currently have a couple guys that I talk to a lot, that are rookies, man. And so one thing that I tell these young brothers is, you know, life after football is really like have curiosity, right? The great thing is that a lot of college guys, shoot, high school even, like some of these guys, depending on where you're at, you get paid money now, right? Because the name, image, and likeness. So a lot of these guys are financial literate, opposed to like when we were young. Like I remember getting my first Pell Grant. It was $15,000 or something. I don't know, maybe a little less. And I was like, oh shoot, I got paid heck of money in college. Like I remember calling my mom, like, did you give me this money? Like calling my dad, like, no. I'm like, I got a full ride and I got a Pell Grant. And it was like, okay, where's my money gonna go? Right. And so my dad was good at finances, so like I was fine. But these kids are getting this money quicker now. So the colleges are doing their due diligence on helping the kids out. But I would say, with that being said, is because you're getting paid faster, one, you want to make sure you have the right team around you, audit your team. Because just because somebody has money, or they have a certificate, or they have clientele or whatever, doesn't mean that they're the right person, right? It's a lot of scammers out here. I've seen financial advisors, I've seen agents, I've seen all types of people steal money from teammates. So you have to like audit your circle. I would say one, I would say two, be curious. I think I was kind of hitting on that earlier. Be curious. If you do have some type of financial backing, just try it. You never know what you like until you try it, because one day football will end, right? Or one day basketball, or whatever you're playing, it will end. And so you want to make sure that whether you make 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 40 million, that you're able to transition as smooth as possible. From a mental aspect, it's still going to be tough, but by having something, it will distract you because you're able to be great at something else. Um, and the last thing I would say is, um, as far as transitioning, is don't scare to be great at something else, right? Kind of goes with the curiosity moment. It's like, you can be great. You've already been great. Like football, like one thing that gives me mass confidence is like, I was 1%, right? Like how many agents are out here, you said?
I think
Whatever,
it
like,
was 70,000.
right, 70,000, right? So then you're 1% of those agents when you get, when people put in their bio like top 1% or whatever, right? That means you did a lot of volume. But in football, like, it's basically Navy SEALs training from the moment you're born to like till you get to the like highest level. And it goes down as you go, it just continues to squeeze. And so whether it's real estate, whether it's, whatever you're doing, pickleball player, whatever, like you can be that 1% again with the same focus, intent, tenacity, perseverance. Like as long as you like stick to who you are and you stay locked in, like, in due time, your time will come. You know, I always tell people like it took me from 5 to 21 to make the NFL. Right. I wasn't 1% the whole time. Like in Pop Warner, I was not the best guy. I got some friends. I'm not gonna shout them boys out, but like they were better than me, like purely just better. But then as we kept going, middle school, high school, it was like, okay, he's better than me, right? And in college, on my college team, we had 35 seniors. I was the only one to get drafted. Like, you know what I mean? So then you go, and then out of 13 or 7 guys that got drafted in my class for the Miami Dolphins, I was the last one to play. Right? I got 9 years. Everybody else, even our first overall pick, played less time than me. So, you know, you just got to understand, like, if you stay locked in, if you continue to persevere and that attention to detail, you can be great at whatever.
I love it. Last thing, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself as a younger athlete, what would your advice be to yourself?
Man, that's a good one too. That's always one of those hard ones, man, that get like emotional. Not gonna cry here. One thing I would tell myself as an athlete, I would say enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. Like I was thinking about this the other day as I was watching the game. I was like, man, I just miss smelling the grass. Like something so simple. You know, and my wife always reminds me that the current day is gonna be the only day that you're in this current day, right? Because the days go on. The years go fast and the days go fast and the years go slow, right? Or the years go fast and the days go slow. My teammate would say. And so I think for me, I will always just say like whatever you're in, it don't even have to be football, but it's just like enjoy the moment. Enjoy the present moment. Even right now, like as a developer realtor, like I'm really just enjoying today. You know, and I know sometimes, like especially when you got guys like us who want to go, 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 it's like easy to look like, well, down the line, it's like, I just enjoy today. What can you win today? And then you stack those as the days go.
Amen, brother. Couldn't say it better. I guess that's a good way to wrap this up. I really appreciate you making time coming out today. I think I could talk for another a few hours with you here. I really enjoy this. Obviously, we missed Patrick,
Yeah.
but this was also some good quality time for the two of us. So, if for anyone who wants to, tap in with you, support the foundation, reach out to you, where can we find you?
Foundation is firstchanceu.org. Little sales pitch. We give through education, sport, and community giving. We do a huge number of deals, but one thing I always say is we really work in the high school family space, right? So all of our initiatives help us give back to high school scholarships for kids graduating, going to college, and it also helps us sponsor families. We sponsor a family in Arizona, San Diego, and Seattle, 4 quarters out of the year, care packages for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then we do 2 care packages for Q1, Q2. So you can find that at firstchanceu.org or first chance or underscore first chance you on Instagram. For me personally, it's just my personal is Jamar Taylor underscore SD. Real estate is just Jamar Taylor underscore on Instagram, LinkedIn, all of the above.
Okay, cool. So if you guys are listening, if you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Jamar, thank you again. That was a great time, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Appreciate you, bro.